Yo, what is going on, guys? It is Taylor the Fiend back again. And on today's episode, I have a story for you here today of a wife who tried to give away their children, right? And then said that she didn't actually love them. So this was a woman who wasn't interested in having children in the first place, as far as I understand, ended up having them, but then decided, hey, listen, she wants to return to the party girl lifestyle, the traveling. And so she wanted to get rid of them. Absolutely crazy story here. Let's jump into it. It is titled, My Wife Secretly Planned to Give Away Our Children. Then she said that she didn't love them. So he says, I never thought I'd be posting something like this, but here I am. I feel like I've been living in a completely different reality than my wife. And I honestly, don't know how I missed the signs. A few weeks ago, he found out his wife had been making plans to put up our kids for adoption without telling him. And when he confronted her, she admitted that she never loved them at all. So let's jump into it. My wife, Rebecca, 34, and I, 36, have been married for almost 8 years. From the start, she was upfront about not wanting to have children. So first of all, this woman is like, she was 34 years of age at the time, saying that she didn't want to have kids. And so this was never, ever going to end well in the first place, guys. Like women who get to 34 years of age, right? And then they have children, whether that be because they wanted to have them last minute or because they accidentally have them, it's never going to particularly end up well, okay? I often see women pushing this age, and this is actually a dangerous age to be having kids, right? You're pushing geriatric pregnancies at this point. You're pushing a lot of complications potentially happening, not just for you, but for the child as well. So, 34 and 36, having children, married for 8 years. And he says, I wasn't completely on board with that, but I loved her and figured we could build a fulfilling life regardless. So this is a dude, right? Bear this in mind as we continue the story, okay? This dude has been married to this woman for 8 years, wants to have kids. So he's been married since he was 28, wanted to have kids, it seems. But then the wife's like, no, I don't want them. And he just continues with the marriage anyway. You know what I'm saying? Like he continues with this long-term relationship, knowing that they have such a fundamental difference in what they want out of life, it seems. So a few years into their marriage, she got pregnant, and at first she planned to have an abortion, but at last minute she changed her mind. I supported her decision, and once our daughter was born, I thought that she had fully embraced motherhood. Okay, so first of all, she hasn't, right? So she got pregnant. She was intending to get rid of the child, and then she changed her mind at 34 years of age. And this is a woman, again, who said that she didn't want to have children in the first place, right? And now they've had this accident, as it were. A couple of years later, she even suggested having a second child, and we welcomed another daughter. Looking back, I can't believe how wrong I was about everything. So this is where it gets a bit stupid, okay? Because the woman, after having the first child, right, she would have been like, what, 35? Oh, maybe they were younger when they had the children, actually. Now that I'm thinking about this, they were probably younger when they had the kids. A few years into that. Yeah, so it was a few years ago. That's my bad. Anyway, a couple of years later, so she suggested having the second child. This is crazy, right? So she didn't want to have kids at first. Then she accidentally had one. And now she's saying, hey, listen, we should have a second child, right? So this dude is probably thinking to himself, oh, she's embraced being a mother. She wants to have a second child. Everything's fine. Everything's fine going forward. She has no issues. And, it was her suggestion. For the past few months, Rebecca had been distant. She'd worked from home, so she was the primary caregiver while I worked long hours. But when I was home, she barely acknowledged the children. She'd shut herself in her room for hours, and if the girls needed anything, she'd brush them off and tell them to wait for him. He asked her if something was wrong. Every time she'd just say that she was tired or overwhelmed, but nothing ever changed. He started picking up more of the parenting responsibilities, thinking that maybe she needed a break, but then she said something that made my stomach drop. Okay, so she's staying at home, she's working from home, doing a far less strenuous job, it seems, right? She's chilling at home. She's supposed to be looking after the kids, doing pieces of work at home, okay? But instead, what's she actually doing? She's just working or doing whatever in her room, and ignoring the children. Doesn't seem interested in being their mother, doesn't seem interested in actually raising them, despite the fact that this guy is, you know, out here working very hard at his job. She's just not really interested in doing any of the parenting, it seems. And this is really concerning stuff, guys, right? Like, this is, you know, the woman said that she wanted that second child. Okay, you have 2 kids together now, and she's just not giving them the time of day. Crazy. One night after the kids were asleep, she sat me down and started talking about how much she missed our life before children. She said, we used to be able to travel, be spontaneous, and just enjoy ourselves. He tried reassuring her that we could still do those things, just with a little more planning. But then she muttered something under her breath, and she said, I don't love them. I don't know what to say. I was sat there stunned. Then she started crying and saying she wished she could go back to how things were before, but it didn't stop there. Holy hell. So what does this woman want to do? She wants to go back to the traveling life. She wants to be able to go back to doing whatever. And this is the thing, guys, is like, you know, your life isn't really about traveling, I suppose, when you have children. You know, a lot of these girls, they want to live this life, like, they want to live the lifestyle that is a lot harder to live if you have children. Okay, I've actually seen this from women who, for example, they become single mothers, and then they try and pass off the child to the parents so that she can resume the party girl lifestyle, traveling and doing all of that nonsense. But the reality is, if you wanted to go out there and travel and do all of your 304 activities, you probably shouldn't have A, gotten married in the first place, and B, had children as well on top of that. Okay, and many women want to do this. You know, they want to go out there, they want to do the partying, they want to do the traveling. Fine. These women do not make good mothers. It's not a very good decision to have children if you're a woman like this. You know, guys, like, I keep seeing these videos of like, oh, there's so much propaganda online, referring to videos like mine, right? Trying to fearmonger women into having children. And let me just say this. If you're a woman and you don't want to have children, please do not have children. Nobody cares, right? Like, it's very, very simple. People are allowed to make their own decisions as long as I don't have to deal with them. Fine by me, okay? But you see these women who don't want kids and then they have kids, or you have the women who never wanted kids and then they push 30 and then they're like, oh, now I need to have children. It's stupid, man. They try and do everything like last minute, can't make up their minds, and end up screwing up their kids' lives. It's insane. So she admitted that she had already been talking to adoption agencies and looking into foster care. She had been planning to give our kids away behind his back. So she was looking, this woman was actively looking into adoption agencies. He said I could barely process what she was saying. She kept going on about how much happier we'd be, how we could start over, how we were never meant to be parents. She was saying it like it was some sort of a normal decision, like trading in a car or selling a house. That night, I didn't say anything. I just got up, packed a bag, grabbed my kids, and drove to my mother's house. I knew I couldn't stay with her anymore. That is crazy. So the woman essentially said she wants to get rid of the children. She wants to put them up for adoption. And she wants to return to the traveling lifestyle. This guy was like, oh, hell no, man. You know, this is a dude who had 2 children with this woman. The next morning, he took the day off work, sat down with his mother to figure out what to do. Phone was blowing up texts and missed calls, but he ignored them. Eventually, he decided to go back to the house. And when he walked in, she lost it. She started screaming at him, demanding to know where he had been, accusing him of cheating. Not once did she ask about the kids, by the way. And this is how you know, man, like, the woman was probably the one cheating. You know, she says the most outlandish crap, you know, is talking about putting the kids up for adoption. You take a breather with the children for 24 hours, and what's her, you know, initial instinct? That you're cheating and to get mad and to scream at you and everything. I think women like this are clinically insane, man. Like, when behavior like this comes out, it essentially tells you everything you need to know. It really does. Like, you don't need to go looking for evidence or anything like that. Screaming, accusing the dude of cheating, get the hell out. When he finally told her he took them to his mother's house because I didn't think they were safe with her, she just stared at me like it had never even crossed her mind that I'd actually want to keep them. Then she said, wait, you want to keep them? Don't you love me? I had no words. I just started packing my stuff. So the argument escalated fast. She threw a plate at my friend, did some questionable things. Holy hell, police officers had to be called. Rebecca was arrested and taken in. A few weeks later, she was diagnosed with bipolar. Apparently, she had been going through untreated manic cycles for years. Her parents got involved after that. They helped her with legal and medical issues, but Rebecca refused any help from him. She wouldn't even use my insurance for her treatment. Then she made the final call. She didn't want custody. She didn't even want visitation rights. I begged her to at least see them on birthdays and holidays, and she refused. Holy hell. So yeah, she's actually clinically insane. There you go. Right? I say that as kind of a joke, you know, oh, this woman's clinically insane. You should not be in a relationship with this woman. You shouldn't be married to her. But sometimes, man, you know, I make these comments and like, yeah, they're a joke, but they're kind of true at the same time, right? This woman's going through manic episodes, clearly not safe to have her around the children, obviously. Very spooky stuff. So this dude, I believe he becomes a single father then. Yeah, he says, I ended up hiring a nanny to help with childcare while he worked. He also started therapy with the daughters, so he had 2 daughters, it seems. And the hardest part was that they still asked about her. They still wonder when she's coming home. He says he tries to stay strong, but sometimes he just gets sad after they go to bed. I never thought my life would turn out like this. My friends have stepped up in a huge way, bringing their families over so my girls don't feel like they've lost everything. It helps, but I know nothing will ever fully replace what they lost. Rebecca and I finalized our divorce quietly, no drawn out battles, no fights over assets, just a clean break, which is really lucky for him, by the way. Usually it's actually the opposite. Usually the women, number one, they try and take custody of the children. Number two, they also try to take you for assets and things like this. So this guy got pretty lucky, all things considered. Now, I will say this, right? I don't think it's not ideal to be raising children when you're missing one of the parents, right? Whether you're missing the mother or the father, I don't think it's ideal either way. That said, men on average tend to perform better as single fathers, and the children tend to turn out better. But by no means is it an ideal situation to have one parent, especially looking after 2 children. So he says, the last time I saw her was in the courtroom. She barely said a word to me. This woman was 100% cheating on this guy the entire time, by the way. You can feel the resentment. When everything was signed, she just walked out without looking back, and that was it. I don't know if her mental illness caused all of this or if she just never wanted to be a mother in the first place, but I knew one thing: my daughters deserve better. Holy hell. So here's the thing as well, is like this woman had to have displayed symptoms before. Do you know what I mean? She would have gone through many manic episodes before. And this is why, guys, it's very, very important. Number one, marriage is a scam. You shouldn't be doing it, in my opinion. But number two, you know, the people that you spend time with, whether that be romantic or otherwise, you should absolutely not ignore the red flags, right? Really, really should not be ignoring them. Guys, we're going to be leaving today's episode there. Do not forget to leave your thoughts and your comments. Have you ever gone through something similar? Maybe you had like a crazy ex-girlfriend or something like this and you had to make a getaway. Let me know down in the comments below. Make sure you take care of yourselves, and I'll be seeing you all in the next episode. Peace.